Redby TV here after the 28-6 victory over the Leigh Centurions. What did we think of that? Right, first of all, we'll break the game down. First 15 minutes.
Yeah, first 15 minutes wasn't great, was it? It was almost like the wee kind of jab in the ribs was them scoring. Right, okay, we better start playing now. And from then on, we apart from the odd break, a half break, we totally dominated, I felt.
Yeah, I think our defence was good tonight.
Has there been a problem with the defence all year?
I don't think so. I mean, we've been quite close in games. I think we discussed it during the game that there's not been many. Well, there's not been any games that we've been blown out. Maybe Salford was the one where we didn't look like winning it, but the rest of them we've been there or thereabouts. But yeah, I thought we looked better. I still think we're far too reliant on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
It looked like a couple of times, and I don't want to be overcritical, but when Farge is going down that side, he's giving a little ball to Tyre, and Tyre's got no room to work in.
Yeah.
But I think that's kind of like a work in progress at the minute.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll correct itself, but it was good to see Ryan Morgan getting a try, one for him, but two to prove we actually can attack down the right edge. And the only disappointment there in the second half, Dom Peru. Let me introduce Tommy Makinson. They're very fast, try scoring the
To be fair, was that Peru or was that Zeb Tyre?
No, it's Peru.
Was it Peru?
I thought at first it was Tyre, but I was corrected. But I mean, that's the only thing. But it was good to see Ryan Morgan scoring for him. And I say to prove that we can actually do something down our right edge.
For me, we took too long to get going. It was 15-20 minutes. Yeah. We were slow getting going, but then I thought we pretty much dominated most of the game. It was just...
That's the story of our season so far, being slow to get going though.
The last time I was down here, the Warrington game, it was 28 minutes, it was still 0-0.
Yeah.
Maybe it's me. maybe it's me, I don't know.
But no, it's almost like for some reason we've just got stage fright for 10-15 minutes at the start of a game, and we don't quite kind of start with the intensity that other teams can do.
It's perhaps taken a while to shake off the grind mentality of going out and not so much worrying about scoring right away, it's breaking down the opposition and wearing them out.
Yeah.
And it's maybe going to take time to get out of that kind of thought process.
Yeah.
But you know, from 20 minutes on, you know, we scored 28. We could have easily.
I'm looking around the league at the moment, and I watched that Huddersfield Leeds game last night, and I think it was one of the people who came on Red VTV after that game and called Huddersfield the worst team he'd seen at the stadium this season.
That was
Yeah.
And do you know what? I wouldn't have disagreed. And they went and banjoed Leeds last night.
Yeah.
For as bad as people think we are, if you can get consistent and you can get 3 or 4 wins on the board on the bounce, you'll shoot up the league.
If is an absolutely massive
and if is the massive word.
Well, that's the thing. Look at the next couple of games we've got. We're away to Warrington without Percy and without Big Alex.
Yeah.
Then it's Cass in the Cup.
Yeah.
And then Hull at Magic Weekend, where Saints always perform marvellously.
Down here after that.
Yeah. So the next few weeks are going to, I think, I know it sounds a terrible cliche, but it is going to shape our season, whether we're still challenging for the challenge.
Next week is going to be absolutely massive for us losing Percy and Walmsley. I thought they were 2 of our best players tonight. So performances, who did you think played well?
Farge, for me, probably man of the match over Wilkin.
I think the sponsors wanted to meet John Wilkin.
Must have, because
against Wilkin, he wasn't bad.
This isn't to bag John Wilkin. He did nothing wrong tonight.
Yeah, I think.
But there was 5 or 6 standout performances. I thought Louis looked like he'd been dragged in and had a rocket up his arse this week. Walmsley was impressive. Percy was impressive. Farge was good.
I know.
I thought Morgan was better down the right.
It might not be the same, but Morgan was better. Makinson was chiming in, and you kind of.
I didn't watch anything in that game where they said, "Oh, John Wilkin, man of the match tonight."
But there was nobody that was awful. Nobody stood out.
It was.
That's it. There were some errors. I mean, that's the first team who've actually pinpointed Grace as, let's see what he's like under the high ball, and he was found out.
To be fair, there was one in the first half where he did drop it. The ball went up, and I think it was Ben Crooks. He dove into 2 Saints players, hit Grace, and he dropped it, and the penalty goes to Leigh. The referee.
Gareth Hewer and a series of inexplicable decisions.
He looked like a fat, failed PE teacher. I'm sorry, he was absolutely terrible.
I thought you were going to say a fat Ben Thaler then. It looks like somebody...
do you know what? He makes Ben Thaler look like he gives...
It looks like Ben Thaler's been shrunk by 75%.
There was that one in the second half. Walmsley scored.
Yeah.
It quite clearly was over, and he put the ball down, and you look where Hewer was, and he was the wrong side of the ball, 10 yards back.
But that's
and his
what
in-goal judge didn't give it.
That's why judge got.
The thing is,
there was no doubt. There's absolutely no doubt. It wasn't a controversy. It wasn't like a 50-50 decision. The ball was on the floor.
Yeah.
Get away.
The in-goal judge stood
why he's
still.
on that side,
Yeah, exactly. The in-goal judge stood perfectly still, which for me I thought that was he scored the try. I thought that's what he does.
But I sometimes wonder, I can't help thinking, sometimes in football, you get referees will say to the linesman, look, if I've got a clear sight, don't get involved. And you wonder if it's the same with the in-goal judges.
Possibly.
The referee's there and he says, listen, if I've got a sight, I'll make the decision. But that's not right. Otherwise, don't have these.
I think he was told us, he
yeah.
must have told us, his assistants, not to give any decisions tonight. But he was
That's what I
that
think.
far behind the play. He was guessing.
He's a part-time referee, isn't he?
He looked.
And unfortunately, well, he did, and it's a shame. I don't want to come on here and talk about the ref.
No,
I want to come on and say, there were some mistakes from Saints. Saints were better going forward, still good in defence. Leigh looked like he could throw it about, but we're drawn back to him because, and it's a shame because it seems to be an epidemic of referees leaving the game. You see, Jack Smith has gone part-time this week.
Yeah.
Now, I know he's got other business kind of things to look into, and he wants more time with his family, but why aren't we keeping hold of these referees? Because is it because we're doing this? Is it because we can feel the need to?
I think it runs a lot deeper. Probably it's got to be down to the RFL. It's got, if they're not supporting them and putting them under extra scrutiny.
Yeah, is the boss of the referees the right man for the job? That's probably something we could spend half an hour on.
I think that the answer is probably no. When you look at how many referees the game's lost.
Yeah.
So, another Jekyll and Hyde performance. We're at the top of the roller coaster this week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Will we go round the curve next week, or will we be going down at Warrington?
We're away at Warrington. That is kind of like.
I think Warrington have been banjo tonight.
Let's be positive right now. Warrington's our banker 2 points of the season when you're away there.
You've said it now,
I've said it now.
The man has
Blame
said
me. Listen, blame me. Right, blame me. I'll happily take it. I'm up in Scotland. None of you'll reach me. Okay. But I fancy us next week. There you go.
I think they're missing Chris Hill and Stephen Rashford, which is
so it's kind of 50-50,
possibly
isn't it?
like for like missing. I think if we start as slow as that, then we may be in trouble.
What do Saints bring in next week to replace Percival?
It's going to be Fleming.
Yeah, last year it would have been Peru switched in there. It's going to be Matty Fleming.
Straight in.
And you'll have a big the tramp.
Do you feel Matty Fleming was unlucky to get dropped tonight?
Thoughts?
Matty Fleming unlucky to be dropped out the squad?
Yeah, probably so, but I think if you bring in somebody like Ryan Morgan on decent money on a 3-year deal,
you've got to give him a chance to prove himself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one thing that I think I've said it before on Rev V TV. I think he needs the chance of having a ball playing second row with him rather than a runner to give him a bit of ball and give him a bit of service.
I think Amor probably needed that week off. He's not been great for a few weeks.
Exactly. He'll
come back in next week and have a point to prove.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Right, onwards and upwards.
Absolutely.
3 or 4 wins and we'll be in the top 4.
Delighted with that tonight.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Right, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next week after Warrington on Red V TV.